He could.
This is the Tom and Jerry Sports Show
on All Noise Radio.
I'm Jerry.
Go.
And I'm Tom.
Ball. What? Shoots and scores. What a play by Tavares. Way.
All Noise Radio. The noise. The noise. You can't ignore.
Good afternoon. Tom and Jerry Sports Show on the air live for the first time. We got a great show ahead of us today. 40-something games left of the MLB season. Yankees are back in first. Mets had a chance to really take a large lead in the East, but couldn't. Will this past weekend hurt them in the long run? NFL preseason week 1 is in the books. Some recaps of that and everyone's favorite, fantasy. We'll be taking calls today, 605-562-7085. And when you want to be on the air, click 5.
Yeah, that's right. We're on live for the first time ever. And we'll start off with the New York Mets and the Yankees, both in action this weekend. Pretty big series for both teams, considering both teams are in first with, small margins right now. And with the Yankees' big series against the Toronto Blue Jays, the Yankees were able to, grab 2 out of 3 from that series, which was very big to try to, be in, striking distance at least. It's been a very tough couple of weeks for the New York Yankees, injuries and all.
First.
Yeah, back in first, nonetheless. But the Blue Jays don't look like they're going to be slowing down any means. They've really been coming really strong lately. But honestly, after this past, last night's big win for the New York Yankees.
Grounded to short. Booted. And the Yankees will win the game. The Yankees win the game 8-7.
Yeah, that was a big win for the New York Yankees. Huge win against the Minnesota Twins. Back and forth that game.
Yeah, because they, towards that one point they were losing that game. I mean, it was back and forth like you said, but it was definitely big to get that win. Especially, you can't lose those kind of games.
Of course,
to the Minnesota Twins, you can't lose that.
But honestly, it was really, really bad luck for that young pitcher to get that ball hit right to the head.
Yeah, Brian Mitchell.
You pray for him, make sure that he's all right. That's first things first. But
he fractured a nasal, I think, something with the face.
Well, the Yankees were looking rest for their starters to begin with, so
yeah.
To have their bullpen really, get a lot of work in the next couple of days. It's going to be really big on guys like CC Sabathia and Ivan Nova. They're going to have long starts the next couple of days. Eovaldi.
One guy that had a big game was Brian McCann.
Yeah. Yeah, he was a pretty big home run.
Yeah, it was a huge home run.
I gave the lead early.
We had a clip for you, but it's not working. So.
Well, at the end of that, but
that's the fun of live.
Yeah, right. I know. Brian McCann, honestly, big game. 5 RBIs, 3 for 5. Excellent game. Home run, obviously included. Big one right off the bat to give the Yankees a 3-0 lead. It really, sparked the offense a little bit for the Yankees. I mean, they got their 2 guys they've been trying to get on like crazy in Ellsbury and Brett Gardner. They've been unbelievable. They've been nothing short.
Beltran had a big weekend. Weekend for the Yankees.
Of course. Yeah.
3 home runs in 4 games.
Including a big one in the first game of that set.
Yeah.
Against David Price.
Big time for taking the lead in that
that's
game.
a David Price start. That's a start that the Yankees don't expect to win, let's be honest.
You know what? Coming into him, I mean, that last game that he had against us in Toronto, I believe. Or, no, actually it was in the Bronx where he just
he's
shut us out.
He's a dominant pitcher.
When he was with Detroit, we teed off on him. When he was with Tampa Bay, we teed off on him, on numerous occasions. So for him to shut us out the one game, it kind of.
I'll be honest. I think he's found a home with the Toronto Blue Jays. It looks like he's been in the zone all 3 of his starts since he's changed jerseys. He's been unbelievable since he's been up there in Canada. And I'll be honest, the fans love him up there, and even he mentioned it as being the most electric he's seen in a ballpark in a very long time.
Oh, big time.
And Toronto Blue Jay fans, they know how to, they really know how to get behind their crowd, their team. Let's be honest.
You know what it is with Canada. You have hockey, big time. Everybody's big into hockey, but now they actually have another sport.
They were dominant in like 1992. I mean,
they were when they were in the World Series. They won the World Series.
Well, you're talking 15 years ago.
Exactly.
Easily,
that's the thing.
So it's been a while for these fans, and they're really taking it in big time with the big time trades for Tulowitzki and David Price. They're ready to win now.
Absolutely. We're gonna move on to the Mets. They hit a little bump over the
Unfortunate
weekend.
because Washington had a really bad series over the weekend, and the Mets really followed. Both teams getting swept over the weekend. Mets had a great chance.
The Pirates are a good team.
Yeah, they are.
You know, we can't doubt that.
We've talked about their pitching. It's there. And let's be honest, the hitting was there for them too. Who was that? Gregor Polanco and Pedro Alvarez, Starling Marte. They're really, these are good bats that are, coming alive now. And, the Mets really needed their bats to match, and they really weren't able to get it. But, really unfortunate for them to, get a comfortable lead out of this. They still have a comfortable lead with 4.5, but, this could have easily been 7-8 games right now.
Exactly. The Nationals are really struggling.
And it doesn't get easier for them. They,
No.
after today, the New York Mets, they will be taking on, the Baltimore Orioles in Baltimore, which we all know is a hitter-friendly ballpark. So
Absolutely.
the pitching's still going to have to be there for the New York Mets, but it doesn't get easier. I think Washington has to visit Colorado, and the way Washington's bat's been going right now the last couple of weeks, it don't look like Colorado's going to be able to save them from that. At all. I mean, guys like Jason Worth, like we talked about, really just the guy can't see the light of day right now.
His bat is non-existent.
It really hasn't.
They were hoping when they got him that he was going to do what he did in Philly.
Yeah.
And when he was in
Philly's also a hitter-friendly ballpark. We've talked about this. I mean,
absolutely.
Guys will perform differently.
You know what? He just can't even hit a 90-mile-per-hour fastball now.
Yeah, that's just disgraceful.
And he's a fastball hitter.
Yeah, I mean, listen, Washington's got a lot of things going wrong for him. It isn't just the hitting. The pitching's giving up runs. Gio Gonzalez, we all know what kind of pitcher he's been in the past, and he's given up 4 or 5 runs in a game. I mean, the pitching's got to be better. Hitting's got to be better for this team, but the New York Mets are taking it in. Let me tell you, and their fans, they'll take that lead with no problem.
Yeah, this weekend was going to be a big weekend for the Mets. I mean, like we said, it could have really given them that next step over the Nationals, but this weekend really kept the Nationals in this, somewhat of a close.
Well, a little unfortunate luck for the New York Mets. The game being delayed, a couple of days ago, and yesterday really, and Matt Harvey, having to be taken out of the game. That
was rough.
That was rough. I mean, because he wound up leaving the game, and Pittsburgh really teed off after that, to be honest.
Absolutely.
So, it really hurt them in the long run, and honestly, an 8-1 loss is probably not the way you wanted to end that series. It was a long-fought series. One game in extra innings, went 14 innings. They were really fighting, and they were really trying to go out there and try to snag up a win at some point in this weekend series. But Pittsburgh's a good team. We've talked about this many times. Their pitching's very good. Their hitting's starting to come together. Pittsburgh's honestly been one of the hottest hitting teams coming into that series. So,
yeah, it's funny when you look at the standings for, for all of baseball. When you're looking at the AL, or when you're looking at the NL, we'll go with the NL first. You're looking at the wild card teams. You got the Pirates in first. You got the Cubs in the second, part of that wild card. Then, after that, you got San Francisco, that's 4 games out of that. The Nationals that are 9.5 games out of that. Arizona, 9.5. San Diego, 11.5. Atlanta, 15. Reds, 16. Brewers, 18. Rockies, 19.
A lot of games out of the picture already.
Yeah.
I mean, there's not a lot of games left. You're not going to pick up 19 games in 40+. I mean, it's just impossible to do. And for the National League, it's starting to dwindle down to a handful
who wins
of
the
teams.
Divisions.
Yeah, basically.
And but like I just said, I mean, the Nationals take the lead in the NL East. The Mets aren't making the playoffs. I mean,
that's the Mets' chance. They got to win the division, and right now,
they have to.
The way Washington's playing, and the Mets, listen, if you can get swept by the Pittsburgh Pirates, and maintain a 4.5 game lead, that's a win.
Yeah.
In a weird way, getting swept, but I mean, listen, it's not like these games weren't coming down to the wire. The Mets played a great series against Pittsburgh, aside from the Harvey start, which was unfortunate. If Harvey stays in that game, I don't think the Pittsburgh Pirates are scoring 8 runs in that game.
Yeah.
I mean, the Mets should have, obviously scored more than 1 run, but the Mets really fought that entire series. I really thought they played a great series. I mean, obviously, they got a couple of starts coming up the next couple of days. I mean, you got DeGrom going up again tonight against Kevin Gausman. That's a start that needs to be won by DeGrom. It's a tough ballpark, but the Mets got to get their bats going, especially Cespedes again.
And now that how I just went over the NL, I'm going to go over the AL now. You got Toronto, that's 3 games up on Baltimore for the wild card. So you got Toronto and Baltimore. So that right now, if the season ended today, you would have 3 AL East teams in the playoffs.
Hey, man.
3.
That's the
for
kind of AL
for a
East
division that
we're used to this, though, at some point.
Yeah,
I mean,
for
the
a
AL East has been very
division,
competitive.
for a division that everybody thought was going to be bad at the beginning of this season, this division has turned into being one of the best.
Well, Baltimore, we knew what kind of team Baltimore was. I mean, Baltimore's got
absolutely.
they got their home run hitters, and they got, Manny Machado speaks for himself. He's a very good player.
Absolutely.
The pitching, I didn't think would be there for the Baltimore Orioles, and that would be what would hold them back. But they, listen, they're exceeding expectations. That's what happens when you have the manager that they have. He's a great manager. Let's be honest. And he hates the Yankees, which is really funny. That's what makes it so great.
So keep on going with that. You got the Angels that are behind the Orioles at a half a game. You got Rangers that are behind them 1. Minnesota's 2.5. Tampa Bay's 2.5. Detroit's 5. Chicago's 5.5. Cleveland's 6. Seattle's 7. Boston's 9.5. And then you got Oakland at 11.5. That is the rest of the AL.
Yeah, but any of these teams can come back and get a good little run going.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
baseball's different. You really need a team to be, you need them to slack, and you're going to need Baltimore and Toronto. You can play as good as you want, but if Baltimore and Toronto continue to win, the New York Yankees continue to win, you really, there's no chance here.
But look at it. I mean, you got the Nationals that are 9.5, and they're in 4th in the wild card.
The NL is playing some good baseball right now. Let's be honest.
Boston
a lot of good teams out there.
Boston is 9.5. And they're second to last in the AL. That's how different the AL is compared to the NL this year.
Well, the NL has a good selective amount of teams. Let's be honest. The San Francisco Giants and,
But after that, there's nobody.
Yeah.
I mean, you have Pittsburgh, Cubs, Giants, Nationals, and the Diamondbacks. After that, and even the Nationals and the Diamondbacks, like I said, are 9.5 out of a wild card spot.
Yeah.
The Boston Red Sox are 9.5 games out of a wild card, and they are second to last in the AL.
AL's deep this year, man.
Very deep, very deep. And the whole AL can change within, the 40-something games that we have left.
I'm looking, with 40 games remaining of the season, and you're looking at 9.5 game leads. Listen, you need a team to slump. Not only are you going to have to win games, you're going to have a team slump at some point. 9.5 is a lot of games to pick up. For a team to pick up that many games, whether it's 9.5, 17, it really doesn't look too bright. Let's be honest. You got to be in like the 5-game range right now. If you're not in the 5-game range, you really, you're not going to get a team to lose 10 in a row.
Not at all.
Especially when you play this good throughout the entire season. You would need about 4 injuries in one game. Let's be honest.
Yeah, for real. It's just like, and I looked over this, over the weekend, and just how crazy how the NL and the AL is totally different. And something can change like that in the AL.
But come playoff time, the National League, I'll tell you, it's going to be 10 times more difficult to survive.
They got the pitching.
Exactly.
They got the pitching.
The pitching doesn't slump. That's the thing.
It doesn't. But, you have, I feel like the Yankees can do something. So we're going to take a break real quick. When we get back, I got this crazy Mets stat for everyone. NFL preseason week 1 recaps. Eli Manning wants to be the highest paid player in the league. Why we have strong feelings on that next. And later on, we got a great bit. T and J, guess that movie line.
Our jobs occupy more than half our waking hours. Shouldn't we be doing something we love? Call Connecticut School of Broadcasting at 1-800-TV-RADIO or log on to gocsb.com. Since 1964, Connecticut School of Broadcasting, with a network of 12 campuses from Massachusetts to Miami, has helped place thousands of grads as DJs, sportscasters, entertainment reporters, behind the scenes in audio and video production, every aspect of the broadcast media. Connecticut School of Broadcasting has trained men and women of all ages and backgrounds in a matter of months, not years. Learn by doing from area radio and TV pros. Call 1-800-TV-RADIO or log on to gocsb.com. Remember, it's never too late to love what you do. Day and evening classes begin soon. Get trained. Get connected now.
How you doing? We're back, and we wanted to, start off with, we got a call from coming in right now. How you doing? You're on the air.
Hello.
How's it going? You're on the air.
What's up, boys?
How's it
What's going
going?
on, buddy? First
Who
time caller here. Who
are we talking to?
You are talking to the legend Mike Colucci.
How's it going?
Guys, I have two things, all right? Two things. One, Kevin, how excited are you for this Jets season? Let's go, Jets, baby. Let's go.
I'm really excited, man. I mean, that defense looks like it's going to be something really scary. I mean, that front line's going to be really intimidating getting to the quarterback, and the secondary doesn't get, any less intimidating. So it's going to be that offensive side of the ball that we're all going to be crossing our fingers on. You know what I'm saying, Mike?
Yeah, listen, I feel it, man. I get a little nervous, but I think we'll do good this year. So listen, I got a question for you guys.
What's up?
Do you think this Blue Jay team is legit serious, or they're on a hot streak? I mean, let's be real. When they first started the season, who were they? All of a sudden they get Tolwinski and Price, and all of a sudden they can't lose a game. Do you think they're for real, or they're going to stay on a hot streak?
You know what? They got a good team. I mean, we can't deny that. They have a good team. They had the best lineup in the league. I mean, for scoring runs at least.
I'll tell you right now, they have a good team for this year.
Yeah.
If they don't win it this year, it's a big disappointment.
It really is.
Because after that, you're saying bye-bye to David Price. You're saying bye-bye to Troy Tulowitzki. So it's like, really, it's an all or nothing for the Toronto Blue Jays right now.
They really went for it this year.
Well, I just hope that the Yankees keep it going, and let's take this division, all right? What do you think?
Let's hope so.
I think we agree 100% with you there, Mike.
Absolutely.
All right, boys, you have a great day, all right? Get back to work.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, Mike.
Later.
He made some good points there.
Yeah.
We're talking about the New York Yankees and Toronto Blue Jay race. That's really what it's coming down to right now. I mean, Baltimore's up there, but again, I really don't think the pitching for Baltimore is really going to keep, him intact. They got a tough series against the New York Mets coming up right now. And then I think after that, it's a couple of series against the Yankees too. Yeah,
and like I said, I got a crazy Mets stat for everyone. The Mets, I think, have, what would we say, 44, 43 games left in the season. They have 5 games against teams over 500 for the rest of their season.
Hey, it's in their hands.
And that's because the Nationals lost and ended up going under 500.
Okay, so they count towards the under 500 mark.
Yes.
Okay. Well, those are still going to be tough games for them. Those are where that's where the series is going to, the whole division really. Yeah. Those series is right there. It's where the division is going to come down to.
I think the 2 teams out of the 5 games that they'll be playing that are over 500 is the Orioles that they're playing right now.
And then the Yankees
and
next
the New York
weekend,
Yankees.
Right? Not this weekend, the next weekend.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a 3-game set. I think I actually just heard that they just moved their 1 o'clock start on Sunday to Sunday Night Baseball. Mets and Yankees.
So that's going to be a good series. I'm
Absolutely, it's going to be a big series for both teams.
It really is.
Neither team has any kind of game to really, afford to lose right now.
This series coming up, I feel like is going to have a totally different feel to it. Just because, the Yankees and Mets, this series is going to be big just for their, respective teams. Obviously, the Mets want to win this series. Mm-hmm. They need to win this series. The Yankees need it even more because of how close I don't
really see a difference. Both teams need it, and they need it badly.
Absolutely.
But
you know what? In recent years, how many times has both teams needed it?
Oh yeah, no.
That's where I'm getting at. Usually the Yankees go into that series and it's like, all right, whatever.
Yeah. Well, this year it's much different. The New York Mets fans know
Absolutely.
it. New York Yankee fans know it. Both teams are really on the rise right now. And the Yankees, they've been really maintaining, basically. Yeah. They've been trying to maintain. They didn't make any moves during the, the big trade deadline, which was a big trade deadline this year. I think a lot of teams made a lot of big moves, including the New York Mets, which is getting that big bat in the lineup that we've all talked about they needed.
You know what? They didn't make a move, but they kind of made it an inner move, at least, bringing Severino up.
Yeah, of course.
This guy's been unbelievable.
I watched a couple of his starts. He's really been.
I think he's 0-2 or 0-3, when in reality he should be 3-0.
Well, when you play when you play a start and you get 9 strikeouts, obviously you're hitting those corners and you're hitting good spots, but unfortunately, the Yankees haven't been able to get their bats going too much, and it's been a big part on Jacoby Ellsbury and Brett Gardner. These are the guys that are the cornerstones. You have to get on base. These two have
Big
to get on
time.
base for the guys like A-Rods and the Teixeiras and the McCanns.
And that was the reason why they were playing so well at one point.
Well, they looked at the game, the start that he had. I think Teixeira had a solo home run.
Yeah.
Which could have been a 3-run home run if you get these guys on base. These guys that should be 300 hitters for us, especially Jacoby Ellsbury. And Brett Gardner, I think, has had a great year. I mean, Brett Gardner's had like a very good year. A year, honestly, more than I expected.
Yeah.
And he's been very good in that number 2 hole for us.
I love Brett Gardner.
He's a good player.
And I've always said it. I've always loved him since he came up. I feel he just gives our team a different look.
When he first started, I just it was just me or this guy was popping up a lot. But I mean, he's definitely coming to himself. He's getting to become a much better hitter. We got another call coming in. Tom from Long Island, you're on.
Hey, what's up, guys? Long-time listener, big fan, first-time caller. I got 2 points. I want to say something. Well, the Yankee. I'm a big Yankee fan. All this hype on the Blue Jays, I don't think that's real. That bullpen is weak. I think they're going to fade.
He's right.
I mean, what do you guys think about that? You agree?
No, I agree 100%. I mean, I think their bullpen is really one of the the spots they maybe should have attended to during the trade deadline instead of going out and switching shortstops.
And I feel like that their lineup is the only reason that they're going to stay anywhere close. Because
we've talked about this before, man. Hitting slumps, pitching doesn't.
Exactly. I'm waiting for their lineup to slump a little bit.
Good point on that bullpen, though, man. Honestly, it's something that no one's really realizing that once you get these David Prices out of the game and Drew Hutchinson's out of the game, where does it go from there? The Yankees definitely got him on that one.
Well, they lost the game the other day because of that. With both transferring over.
Yep.
But my other point is I'm a big Raider fan, and everyone seems to be talking about the Jets move, Giants move. I'm talking about the Raiders move. I think they're on the call. That division's going off.
Hey,
I don't know what you guys think.
No, aside from the Denver Broncos, I mean listen, when it comes down to the AFC, it's really wide open. I mean, the Denver Broncos, you have to expect great things. I mean, they got the DeMarcus Ware, they got all those guys, they got like a full team basically. Everyone sees the Denver Broncos making it a mile away, barring a Peyton Manning injury. Yeah. Peyton Manning, really. A Peyton Manning injury really would change everything right now. But the Raiders, I like what they're doing. I mean, listen, you don't have it. You're not trying to get a team that's going to win it all in 1 year. I mean, this is what the Jet fans and this is what the Jet organization does wrong all the time. The Jets try to win the championship every year. Oakland Raiders are taking their time right now. They got their defense going together. I mean, who's that linebacker you guys got over there?
Khalil Mack, guy's a beast.
God, I can't. I hear his name every 30 seconds. To be honest, I mean, this guy's been like a quarterback nightmare basically. So I mean. Listen, they need guys like that. They need guys that are going to be able to stop the run. Khalil Mack is a very good cornerstone to start that. I mean, I think of Khalil Mack, 5 years, 3 years from now, I'm thinking a Ray Lewis type kind of player.
Absolutely. I think Derek Carr is going to have a good year this year.
I think so too.
Especially,
You got help now. Amari Cooper.
Yeah, exactly. Going into the draft and getting Amari Cooper, I think that's a big move for the Raiders.
I think it's big for the Raiders to keep Latavius Murray healthy. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, we also got Crabtree. Hopefully he could get out of the shell and produce this year. But who knows?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, listen, what you're looking right now is production. You're not looking for number 1 numbers out of him. You're looking for number 2 numbers.
Yeah.
Which is, that's a great number 2 to have right now.
Definitely.
A lot of people can't say they have something like that right now on their team.
And
Next to Jacksonville Jaguars.
They got Rod Streeter too.
Yeah, Rod Streeter is a good slot guy. He's a quick guy coming out of the slot. Listen, I know this.
Kimbrel Tompkins.
The Raiders would not surprise me at all with a 10-win season. They really wouldn't. This is a team that's starting to come together. They're starting to pick up the pieces that were necessary to start winning. Let's be honest, this team's had trouble the last couple of years when it came to offensive line, defense in general, their secondary. Everything's, a couple of, good draft picks in the last couple of years. It's really changing the difference right now for this team.
Definitely.
So, Tom, thanks for your call, buddy.
Thanks a lot, guys. See you later.
Later, man.
Have a good one.
He makes some good points about the Raiders. And he made a good point about the Toronto Blue Jays, something that we really haven't even talked about. That bullpen. When it comes to the Yankees bullpen compared to their, I think when it comes to the starters, it's kind of even. You got both aces with David Price and Tanaka probably going off against each other in game. We're talking about a playoff, possibly a future playoff series right here.
Absolutely.
But he got into the Oakland Raiders, and with that, we'll switch over to the NFL preseason. It's underway. First week is definitely in the books right now. A lot of interesting facts coming in. Not too many injuries, which is always good. I mean, the lack of, when there's not a lot of injuries going on in the NFL, it's always a good thing, man. I mean,
absolutely.
Nothing worse you see than, an injury to a good player, especially when you're only in for one series.
I think the biggest news is there's no beating of a family member, speeding in a car, smoking weed.
Yeah, there really hasn't been anything coming out.
It was actually a football-filled week, really.
This is the stuff people want to see too. You don't want to see people coming around and just all this off-season problems being the big stories in the NFL.
Yeah.
I mean, right now, you look at, NFL.com even, the number one story is about Eli Manning getting paid.
Yeah.
And that's a good sign. That's something that we've talked about. It's a big change, a big difference to what it's usually been. Obviously, the one significant injury I want to take from the first week of preseason would be the Chiefs. They lost their best offensive lineman, Eric Fisher, to a high ankle sprain, which is always annoying. Those high ankle sprains they make it really difficult because, you can't really judge how long you're going to be out. That's a big-time cornerstone to that offensive line. And let's be honest, they're going to need that offensive line. Yeah. That's the one bright spot of that team. I mean,
you also got Arian Foster going down.
Yeah, that was brutal.
I have to say probably most likely he's out for the season.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not really sure. I haven't heard too much about it, but, I mean, the way Arian Foster has recovered from injuries in the past, there's no way to doubt it.
But he also he got surgery.
Mm-hmm.
The groin was ripped off of the bone. So it's just.
They actually have the Houston Texans on the Hard Knocks. You seen that at all?
Yeah, I want to bring that up. And
you see J.J. Watt?
That's what I was going to say.
Oh my God, man! Well, what else did you see from that? I'll be honest.
It was only J.J. Watt for about 45 of the hour, show.
And he was something else, man. Let me tell you, the guy is a monster. The way he works out,
really is.
Listen, his production isn't a shock to anybody. The guy is a great player.
Absolutely. I mean,
and rightfully so. He earns it. Let's be honest.
Yeah. I mean, I guess we could bring up the Jets game real quick.
I watched their first series. I only watched the first series. This is the first preseason game. I mean, you want to take a look at the second, third stringers, anyone that's going to be coming in later on. But for me, I mean, let's be honest. The first team has really had some work to do. They lost the game. What was it, 23-3? 23-3. So obviously they're having trouble with that second and third stringers right now. But when it came to the first stringers, though, honestly, when it came to the first stringers, you saw an offense that looked a lot different than what I expected.
Yeah, definitely.
I think Ryan Fitzpatrick's very comfortable with this offense. I think Chan Gailey and him have been together before. And I'm going to be honest, I've seen Ryan Fitzpatrick go ahead and, make guys like Stevie Johnson, big time receivers. And this is the same Stevie Johnson who got lost in the San Fran depth chart behind guys, it was really, unexplainable to me. Stevie Johnson is a decent receiver, but you're looking at a Chan Gailey and Ryan Fitzpatrick offense now that gets to work with, Brandon Marshall and Eric Decker. Big difference, a lot more production. Hopefully, Jason Morrow can get himself back to healthy. I know he had gotten hurt too. And then listen, this offense is ready to go. The offensive line's there for the New York Jets. They definitely, got the needs that they needed for it. You got some inside help. So
Eli Manning wants to be the highest paid player. Why the Giants would be crazy to do so. It's hard knock season, as we just brought up. Is J.J. Watt a go hard and a camera hogger? Phillip Rivers signed, and James Harrison doesn't like trophies for nothing. Story ahead on the Tom and Jerry Sports Show.
Connecticut School of Broadcasting founder Dick Robinson.
The media business has changed a lot since we opened our doors in 1964. Now media content is everywhere, on air, online, on the go. More than ever, companies are looking for people to help drive this new media.
At Connecticut School of Broadcasting, you'll get hands-on training on the latest software and equipment in a matter of months, not years. Connecticut School of Broadcasting has placed thousands of grads in broadcast media careers.
It's all about versatility. You see, at a radio station, if you also know how to shoot, edit, and post videos, you become a pretty hot commodity. That's the training you get at Connecticut School of Broadcasting.
Connecticut School of Broadcasting, with locations up and down the East Coast, from Massachusetts to Miami. Call 1-800-TV-RADIO or log on to GoCSB.com. Connecticut School of Broadcasting, the nation's oldest and largest group of broadcast media schools. Redefining training in radio, TV, and new media. Get trained. Get connected. 1-800-TV-RADIO.
How you doing? We're back, and we want to really get into this Eli Manning, contract situation right now. Eli Manning, I honestly don't think that the Giants should break the bank with this, but I don't think even Eli Manning thinks that the Giants should have to break the bank with this right now. I think this is a situation where, you have to understand that in order to put a winning football team out there, everyone's got to take, sacrifices. And I've always been that kind of like, and as an NFL player, you're going to see guys that are selfish and the guys that, aren't selfish and want to win. And I've seen guys like that in Tom Brady. And it's a big reason why Tom Brady is, Tom Brady.
Yeah.
And, why he's got his, many wins under his belt. And the work ethic is there for him. There's no doubt about that. I've seen the work ethic from Tom Brady. And I've seen the work ethic from Eli Manning. These are two hardworking quarterbacks, well deserving of the money. But, Eli Manning, getting that contract, it would be a huge, distraction off the New York Giants organization, especially out of the news.
Well,
New York media especially.
Definitely, because this is going to be brought up all year long until it happens.
Hey, what other way to get paid than to perform early on in the season? I mean,
absolutely.
I see it from Eli Manning's standpoint.
That's definitely what you want to see out of Eli Manning. But, I mean, to be honest with you, is he deserving, like, the last 2 years of the highest paid contract? And I mean, really, if you think about it, it really doesn't matter because
you can see why the New York Giants haven't had the most success in the last 2 years. When you're paying a quarterback this much money, it's really hard to put up wins on the board. Let's be honest.
I think the stat is since 2006 he's had the most interceptions in the league.
Well, listen, there's a lot that comes into play with that. I've seen one of the seasons with Eli Manning, and I've seen the deflections. And, stuff like that comes into play 100% off of a guy's fingertips, stuff like that. I mean, he's really working with a guy that was, Invicta Cruz, that, great player, a lot of speed and everything. But this guy was not a highly rated receiver whatsoever. This guy really came out of the Giants, camp playing really well.
He started out, I think, in Jets camp first.
Yeah, I bet. I wouldn't be surprised if the Jets passed on somebody like that. That's not a shocker to me.
But, I mean, just, looking at the contracts now, this would be putting him over guys like a Cam Newton deal, which is $118.5 million. Jay Cutler, $109.
You got to remember when he did sign that contract, he did win multiple Super Bowls. I mean, that's definitely worth a lot of money. But right now, it comes a time where you need to really sacrifice and maybe restructure.
Colin Kaepernick, $106. Mm-hmm. Ben Roethlisberger, $99. Phillip Rivers, $99. Then that's value remaining. Guaranteed sum, Phillip Rivers, $65 million. Russell Wilson, $61.5 million. Colin Kaepernick, $61 million. Cam Newton, $60 million. And Tony Romo, $55 million.
And what's Eli at?
Then at average, this is average per year. You got Aaron Rodgers, $22 million per year. Russell Wilson, $21.9 per year. Ben Roethlisberger, $21.85.
Well, these are all quarterbacks that are bringing their teams to the playoffs every year.
Yeah.
I mean, you notice the trend right here. I mean, you're looking at the Seattle Seahawks, the Green Bay Packers, the Pittsburgh, Steelers. These are teams that are constantly in the playoffs, making runs every year.
And I mean,
and Pittsburgh lost a lot of guys on defense.
Yeah,
too. Big Ben has really picked it up.
From what I'm hearing, the Ben Roethlisberger deal will be the kind of the center point of the Eli Manning deal. That they'll try to go around that figure, that 99 to 100 mil per for the whole contract and everything. But being that we've brought his name up 3 times in these 3 lists, Phillip Rivers got paid.
Yeah, Phillip Rivers did get paid a lot of money, and this is coming from a guy that, let's be honest, San Diego has been irrelevant. It's a very tough division. We talked about how the Oakland Raiders are coming up. The Denver Broncos are already up.
Yeah.
And, you got the Kansas City Chiefs, too, that, are no joke. They got a great offensive line, great defense in Kansas City, probably arguably the best defense in that division.
Yeah.
So it puts a lot of, there's a lot of stuff on Phillip Rivers' shoulders right now. And let's be honest, I mean, paying him a lot of money is going to really help him get a lot of help defensively and offensively.
In this deal, one of the things was if the San Diego Chargers were to move to LA, that was a stipulation in this contract that he stays.
Mm-hmm. He
obviously signed the contract, so it's there.
Yeah.
He also got a no trade clause. So that's big.
Right. If you could stay in San Diego in that beautiful weather permanently, I mean, I'd probably sign the same exact thing.
But again, he got the most guaranteed in the NFL.
That's crazy.
$65 million guaranteed money.
That's crazy.
So,
that's really nuts. I mean, considering now what kind of help are you giving this guy right now? You got Malcolm Floyd that's what, 40?
Yeah.
I mean, that's going to be like his, borderline number one receiver this year. You got Antonio Gates, who might be 41, honestly. I mean, you got an older team here. So I guess maybe pay the quarterback now, keep him here for a couple of years. Hopefully it's restructured at some point later on to, kind of lower this, especially when you're going to go out, with the draft. You're going to have to draft a lot of offensive weapons to help this guy. But this looks like a very tough season for San Diego this year, going in at least.
Yeah, and you know what? This contract probably is definitely making the Giants, really, bite their tongue now, because now it's, he's going to be, Eli wants to eclipse this deal.
Mm-hmm.
You got to give him more guaranteed money than Phillip Rivers, more than $65 million. That's insane.
No, I think really when it comes down to paying Eli Manning right now, I think Eli Manning needs to take a step back. The Giants need to take a step back, and I think they need to let the season go underway. I mean, honestly, I think it's best for both sides. Really get it out of the newspaper, get it out of the media. The New York media is really rough, and they'll hurt you. They'll make it a big impact, even though it really isn't a big impact. And you talk to Eli Manning, or you talk to John Mara. I mean, even John Mara's talking about how he's he pushes aside the Eli Manning story, and he goes into about Jason Pierre-Paul.
Yeah.
And about how he's very upset with him about that. And that's the way to go. Because that's a story. I mean, that's a story that is understandable for, the Mara family and, everything going on with the New York Giants organization when it comes to Jason Pierre-Paul. I mean, they're not even letting the doctor go out there and see him at all, which is really crazy. So, that's the story he tried to go across, get away from the Eli Manning, because this is a guy that's actually going to be on the field, Eli Manning. This is a guy that's actually going to be a big part of this team right now. It's going to be a big reason why the Giants are going to be successful this season or not. It really goes on his shoulders. So, what other way to prove if you deserve to get paid or not is this season. Let's be honest. The Giants' offensive line isn't the best. They've had better offensive lines throughout the years. They got a new guy coming in. They're a young guy, right? That first-round pick.
Yeah.
We'll see how he goes on the inside, most likely to start. Usually most rookies go out on the inside, especially on the tackle side.
Wow, the Giants?
Yeah, this guy should be going into guard, right?
Yeah, but you know what? Being that the injury happened to the starter, he's going to probably be thrown right into the wolves at left tackle. I mean,
it just shows what Eli Manning's going to be able to do with it. And it's going to be difficult. No one's saying it's going to be easy at all.
I mean, that offensive line is really,
Personally, I think the Giants should wait and let the season play out a little bit and see what happens.
I mean, quick story. It's actually kind of funny a little bit. And it could be controversial.
I really don't even think it's funny at all. I don't. I think there's no reason to even say anything like this. This is a child we're talking about.
You know what? Like I said, basically what I said, it could be very controversial. James Harrison put an Instagram photo up at JH Harrison 92. I came home to find out that my boys received 2 trophies for nothing, participation trophies. While I am very proud of my boys for everything they do and will encourage them till the day I die.
Okay, well, I like that. I didn't know about that part.
Yeah.
Okay.
He doesn't think that they should get participation trophies, so he returned them.
Listen, these are children. When you're a child and you get a kind of trophy for anything, it really boosts your confidence. And that's big as a kid, If you want to really be successful in this world, as a kid, you got to be a confident kid, You lose your confidence at a young age,
There's more to his post. These trophies will be given back until they earn a real trophy. I'm sorry, I'm not sorry for believing that everything in life should be earned, and I'm not about to raise 2 boys to be men by making them believe they are entitled to something.
It's a trophy. You're not getting paid $1 million, and I think they'll understand that as they get older. I mean, I got trophies growing up. I mean, maybe not participation trophies. I've honestly never even gotten anything like that before. But you get trophies for.
I've gotten participation trophies, but then I've also gotten a trophy that I've earned something.
Of course. And
earning that trophy is so much better than just getting a participation trophy, to tell you the truth.
But honestly, the difference of having a participation trophy, was that going to really make a big difference to you?
You know what? To be honest,
let's hold off on this for a second. We got a call coming in right now. Mike from Long Island. Mike, you're on the air.
How's it going?
Hey, what's going on, Mike?
Not much. Big fan of the show. It's my first time calling, but hopefully it's not the last. Hopefully you guys accept me back after this call.
All right, sounds good.
Well, we're talking about quarterbacks.
Mikey. You there, bud? I think you might have gotten disconnected.
Yeah. But back to what we're talking about. I mean,
Yeah.
I look at it as they should earn it. And I, you know what? I agree with James Harrison.
I agree with him to a degree, though. I mean, I feel like giving the participation trophy back, I don't agree with. I really don't.
To be honest with you, I would sit down.
Exactly.
I mean, obviously,
talk to your child.
Obviously, neither one of us have kids, so we're not put in that position. But if I was in that position, I would sit the kids down, talk to them, just kind of explain his feeling.
Well, I would tell honestly, I'd be very similar with James Harrison here. I'd say, listen, I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you no matter what.
And I'm definitely going to be behind you.
100%. But at the same time, a participation trophy. I mean, I personally don't see it. I don't see anything wrong with it. I
would just be like,
I don't even think there should be even a story, to be honest.
The thing is, I would just tell him, you know what? I want you to earn it. You won't know how it feels until you earn it. You just getting handed a trophy, and it kind of goes with everything. You get handed it, you can't appreciate it.
No.
And that's how I look at it. You get handed something, you can't appreciate it.
Yeah, no, but I mean, listen, there's stuff to build on. First, you get the participation trophy, and then you work towards the next big trophy, like an MVP or a sportsmanship award or most improved. Those are the awards I won as a kid.
Yeah.
Those are seriously I never really won a participation trophy. I really haven't. But I'll be honest, I don't think my father would be the kind of person to, let me know.
I mean, I still have the trophies at home. I still,
exactly.
of all the participation trophies. I mean, playing in the league that I did with baseball, I mean, we were handed a participation trophy every day, like every year. But I mean, it was nothing then.
And
you don't.
But giving it back, what does that really accomplish? They already know. You just letting them know that.
Yeah.
But why are you going to take it away from them? You're basically just taking away any kind of confidence they might have just built by getting a trophy.
I don't know if you're killing their confidence. I think it's just more of maybe trying to hype them up. Go out and earn that trophy, earn that championship trophy, earn that MVP trophy.
Yeah, I guess I can understand that, but I mean, listen, this is really a story that doesn't really even need to be out there. I mean,
well, you knew it was going to be a story because he put it on Instagram. It's James Harrison. I mean,
I've seen James Harrison before, man. I saw him on, Hard Knocks.
And you know what? He's a scary dude.
I know, man.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Very scary dude. So if your dad is James Harrison and he tells you,
and he lays the law down, I understand.
I want you to earn a trophy. You go out and earn that trophy.
Yeah, right. You got that right.
We're gonna take a break. We got everyone's favorite Fantasy 14 ahead on
it's
Tom and
fantasy
Jerry's
time in the NFL.
Tom and Jerry Sports Show.
All Noise Radio. Powered by the Connecticut School of Broadcasting. All Noise Radio is an internet radio station that's fully produced by graduates of the Connecticut School of Broadcasting. From modern rock to old school hip hop, country to classical, news, talk, sports, and more. It's the noise you can't ignore. Log on to allnoiseradio.com. Fire up the station. Find out more about your favorite jocks. Get the latest CSB news and more. Plus, you can take All Noise Radio with you on the go for free. Just download the Live 365 app to your iPhone, iPod Touch, or BlackBerry and search All Noise Radio. Check out tomorrow's broadcasters today at allnoiseradio.com. Powered by the Connecticut School of Broadcasting.
How you doing? We are back, and it's fantasy time. It's still fantasy time. You got your drafts coming up. I already know some people that actually have gotten, their drafts going. Yeah, believe it or not. Yeah, very difficult to understand, especially when the third preseason game hasn't gone on. We talk about injuries and how, let's be honest, there's one significant injury every year. It's sad to say. It really is sad to say. It's showing like what kind of game football is turning into, but
it
at
happens.
the same time, it does happen, and it's unfortunate. But obviously, someone's going to go down like every year. I mean, who went down last year? Someone.
Jamal Charles went down a couple of years.
Yep, a couple of years ago. There's always somebody every year, literally.
A big, top 25
big,
at least.
Someone that's playing as the number one team, basically.
Absolutely.
So, but we're going to start with wide receivers, and there's no better than these two receivers right now, and I like them a lot. Well, we got nothing on this video right now.
I guess not. I mean, none of our clips want to work.
Two of the receivers we were actually going into to talk about right now were Brandon Cooks of the New Orleans Saints and Julio Jones of the Atlanta Falcons. Two players that, you know, speak for themselves.
Cook on the screen. He screens on the 15 to the 10, and he's in for a Saints touchdown.
And 9, Ryan quickly to the left. Oh, Julio says hello, goodbye, and there's 6.
Right now, it doesn't matter, you know, preseason, regular season. Those are two receivers that are producing. Brandon Cooks is someone that I really like going in. This guy could easily be a top 10 receiver this year, especially, you know, Marcus Colston, you know, kind of falling off into the number 2 role. The loss of Jimmy Graham. Brandon Cooks is a big playmaker. This guy could be a big impact for the New Orleans Saints. And he might be the only chance you have of Drew Brees being productive this year.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you know, when you're looking at plays like that, I mean, Matt Ryan, I just, you know what? I never liked him.
You know,
never liked him.
He's been put in a tough situation many times. That defense has never been good for the Atlanta Falcons.
But you know what? His offense has always been good.
Yeah.
And he still, you know, I mean, the numbers that he should put up, you know.
No, I don't disagree with you on that. I really don't. I understand
that. You know, Julio Jones has been hurt, you know, through camp.
Mm-hmm.
I think I don't know if it's a hamstring injury or something like that, but.
I'll be honest. I look at these rankings real quick, and I look at the top 10 receivers who speak for themselves. You got Antonio Brown, Des Bryant, Calvin Johnson, Julio Jones, Demaryius Thomas. It has them in that order. That's basically how the order's going. Jordy Nelson behind him, Odell Beckham Jr., Alshon Jeffrey, E.J. Green, Randall Cobb, Mike Evans. And then you got T.Y. Hilton, DeAndre Hopkins, and Jordan Matthews, and then Brandon Cooks. I'll be honest, I'm going Brandon Cooks before any of those first 3 names that just came off the board. T.Y. Hilton, I'm a little nervous about. Andrew Luck's a very good, you know, quarterback. There's no doubt about it. Yeah. But the adding of Andre Johnson is going to take away a lot of targets.
Yeah,
a lot of targets that no one else really was capable of getting in the Indianapolis Colts offense last year. And Andrew Luck was unbelievable last year. Very good quarterback. Could be arguably the number 1 quarterback in football this year. Him and Aaron Rodgers might be a close 1-2 this year. It might be, you know, a good fight with those two, and especially with the weapons that this kid has now.
Yeah.
But when it comes to Brandon Cooks, I love him. I mean, you even got Emmanuel Sanders, who I love too. I mean, you're looking at no Wes Welker controversy now. You know, for the past couple of years, Wes Welker was a part of that offense with the Denver Broncos, and you weren't sure what you were getting basically out of somebody like, Emmanuel Sanders. I think he's a safe keeping. I think right now, if you can get any 2 of these, you know, top, 15, 16 receivers, you're in good shape right now as your number 1, number 2. It's going to be very difficult, you know, because, again, running backs are a very tight spot, but I'll tell you, if there's any way that I can get 3 receivers on this board in that top 15 and maybe skip on a running back, I have no problem doing that. If I can get 3 receivers right now, you know, this is off the top of my head, realistically speaking, because there's no way you're going to get, you know, if I can get somebody like, you know, Calvin Johnson with a pick, maybe Alshon Jeffrey with maybe a pick maybe close after.
Yeah.
And then later on take Brandon Cooks. If I can get those as my 3 receivers, I mean, granted, I don't have a quarterback yet. I don't have a running back yet. Maybe 1 running back, but I don't even think so. You'd probably have to use your first 3 picks on those 3 receivers. So, you know, if I can get 3 receivers like that, because let's be honest, after the top 15, you're looking at guys like, I mean, Kelvin Benjamin might be able to add him to the list of, to be productive. But then you got a little bit of a drop-off. You got guys like Amari Cooper, Deshaun Jackson, Jarvis Landry, you know, Jeremy Maclin, Martavius Bryant, Allen Robertson. Allen Robertson and wide receiver on Jacksonville.
Yeah.
I mean, it really falls off a little bit not much later. Golden Tate, you don't know what you're getting out of Golden Tate. Keenan Allen, come on. You don't know what you're getting out of these guys. You really don't. This is very, very, borderline. Sammy Watkins, are you going to stay healthy more than a week? And if you are, you're going to have a quarterback that can throw you the ball. And then you got a Rex Ryan running your offense. Or, at least head coaching your offense, which is a Jet fan, I can tell you. You're looking at a possible 8 completions in a game kind of stuff, because that's the kind of stuff he was doing with the New York Jets. A couple of guys I like down the line a little bit. Julian Edelman, big fan of this guy. He's going as the 21st ranked receiver right now. I'm a huge fan of him. There's no doubt that he can go right into that top 10. I wouldn't mind him. I'll be honest. If I got to go running back early and I got to skip, maybe my little Brandon Cooks pick or my Alshon Jeffrey pick or even Calvin Johnson pick, that's a good guy to, feed off of after. I'm going to be a guy this year that, with the quarterback position and the running back position, I think there's time. I think running back's going to be such a difficult position no matter what. I mean, there's a lot of guys up there in the high running back situation where, you're not sure what you're getting. You don't, aside from the top 5, top 6. I mean, right now I'm even hearing stories about, DeMarco Murray. And about this is the reason why they got Ryan Matthews and stuff like that. I mean, you don't know what you're going to get.
You don't. And you know what? It was, I'm on this app. It's called Overtime app. Basically, it's kind of like an Instagram for sports. You want to put up anything, you want to start a debate, anything like that, it's all on this app.
Mm-hmm.
I put up the other day, in most fantasy rankings, Le'Veon Bell is number 1. Who's your number 1?
Mm-hmm.
And I said, I think because of Bell's suspension and even without it, I got to take Adrian Peterson.
I think a lot of people are starting to lean towards that as well.
Yeah. I got a few comments. One guy said Charles or Bell. Jamal Charles.
Pick. I mean, with the whole loss of Eric Fisher now, you're not sure, but I mean, that could be a big impact for Charles. That leaves one side of the field that you really can't even, bank off of right now.
Another guy said, I'd still take Bell. He's going to be the number 1 fantasy back from week 3 on. Another guy said AP. I mean, one crazy kid said DeMarco Murray.
That's an Eagle fan right there.
Yeah, right.
That clearly says Eagle fan.
Another person said AP. When people doubt him, he shows them why they never should. Massive chip on the shoulder of one of the most talented backs in history.
Mm-hmm.
Another guy said AP 100 out of 100 times. Another guy said Jamal Charles would be mine, and another guy said either AP or Charles.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, 3 guys other than the one crazy kid saying DeMarco Murray. 3 guys.
Is D'Angelo Williams still on the Carolina Panthers?
I don't think so. No.
No, right? He's gone out of the picture now, right?
Yeah, because that's Jonathan Stewart's team
right?
now.
Yeah, Cameron Artis-Payne. That is the number 2 running back coming out of Carolina. He could be a little bit of a sleeper right now, Jonathan Stewart. He's in the range with guys like, Carlos Hyde and Andre Ellington and Melvin Gordon. These are all mysterious guys you're really not too sure about. And you honestly, it really is like, it's a question right now. You're not sure what you're really getting at any of these running backs right now. Amir Abdullah is somebody coming up on all draft boards right now. But again, this is a guy where you're basically eliminating Joyce Bell from the situation. You can't eliminate him. You really can't. He's a pass-catching back in a team that's going to throw the ball a lot without Reggie Bush.
Well, a lot of people are saying Amir Abdullah now because of his first preseason game. But again, it's a preseason game.
Exactly. It's a big difference.
And,
playing
he's going against twos. It's a lot different. And, I mean, he had 67 yards, 45 on 1, though.
But that was also against the number 1. It was very impressive. And what you've heard from the coaches at Detroit saying that he's very difficult to tackle, especially from the defensive coordinator over in Detroit, which is a good sign. Don't get me wrong. But, again, where he's getting drafted, I'll tell you right now, he's ranked 21 right now, 21 overall. I guarantee you guys are picking him before even Jonathan Stewart right now.
Yeah.
Carlos Hyde. I guarantee you he's going to be getting drafted before them. Yeah. Carlos Hyde, I'm not too sure about. San Fran is a really run-first team, so there's no arguing that he'll get the carries. But the offensive line has been depleted over the past couple of years. Both their guards are gone, and it really depends on who they have filling in there. A lot of people like Rashad Jennings coming in late. I'm going to tell you, I'm one of the few people in the world that is not going to go with Rashad Jennings, but I'm going to wait and take Shane Vereen.
You know what? Shane Vereen, I mean, depending on,
I think Rashad Jennings and Shane Vereen are the same kind of player when it comes to injury risk.
Yeah.
I don't see a difference.
I mean, Rashad Jennings had maybe 1 or 2 good games last year.
Mm-hmm.
And that was before he got hurt.
But he was a good player. I'm not arguing.
No. I mean, when they got nobody else, really, I mean.
I think Eli Manning, especially like we talk about the offensive line being a little bit of a question mark for him coming into the season. I mean, he's going to have to get rid of the ball quick. You got 2 deep threats in Odell Beckham Jr. and Victor Cruz. They're going to spread these defenses out. I mean, so you talk about you got 2 cornerbacks on the outside. You got safeties that are at least 10 yards back.
Yeah,
at least. Okay, they're not even going to be in on this running game. Well, so it really opens the game up for Rashad Jennings and Shane Vereen. But with the short passes, too, a lot of screen plays. I think Shane Vereen could be a very big contributor. I think Rashad Jennings could be a first and second round running back, which is not a good situation to be in.
Yeah.
And what's the difference right now between Rashad Jennings and like you said, you said before with Joseph Randle?
Nothing really.
Exactly. I mean, maybe a better offensive line for Dallas.
Well, definitely.
Well, we got a call coming in real quick. We'll continue that debate after. Mike from Long Island, we're going to try you again. How you doing, buddy?
Hey, guys. How's it going again?
Again? What's going on?
Not much. Sorry about that. I wonder why I pay all this money for cell phones these days, and it just never works. It just doesn't make sense to me. But anyway, I'm going to have to agree with you on that Shane Vereen comment. I'm a big fan of him, and I just think that Rashard Jennings, there's a few more question marks with him. And at the end of the day, I think Andre Williams is still a sneaky guy to stay in there and take the goal line looks. And at the end of the day, you want the guy, who's going to catch the passes, and I think that's going to be Shane Vereen. I think Jennings will be used as a wild card around that offense.
We've talked about Eli Manning, who's his favorite target a lot. He's a big check down kind of a guy, man. He has no problem with that.
A check down or a tight end type of guy. That's Eli Manning's game.
Mm-hmm.
He knows
how to mix it up.
Yeah, and who's to say they're not even going to put Shane Vereen in the slot at times? Like you said, you're going to have Victor Cruz and Odell Beckham on the outside drawing all that attention. You put a guy like Shane Vereen with his ability, and he's shown he could catch passes. I think he was second in the NFL last year in all running backs in receiving behind Le'Veon Bell, if I'm correct. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. To be honest, he's someone going very late. 41 ranked. Which is very, very deep down. You got guys. He's going beyond guys like. Alfred Blue should be moving up in draft boards, but Duke Johnson, Devontae Freeman, David Cobb, Darren McFadden, these are guys in front of him right now.
Yeah.
Who's drafting any of these guys before Shane Vereen right now?
I don't think anybody's.
Not here. I agree. Another thing you got to look at too is I think last year the Giants were 5th in offensive plays called, so they like to run that no huddle. I think Shane Vereen is going to be out there a lot. It's part of that no huddle under Ben McAdoo's system. It's fast paced, and I just think he's going to be a big benefactor of that whole offense and what they're trying to do this year.
So far this year, Mike, what do you think about the running back so far?
I think this is one of the years in fantasy that you actually don't need to have like one of those stellar running backs. I just think there's plenty of other talent around.
No one's saying don't take the one falling in your lap, but after about 6 or 7, it becomes a question mark.
Yeah, if I miss out on those top 5 guys, who I think we all know who they are. Basically, they're there every year. I'm going to start going after the top receivers. I'm not afraid to take Antonio Brown if he's there in the 6th or 7th pick. I just think that it's better value than taking a risk. I see these people taking C.J. Anderson and Jeremy Hill, and I'm not ready to write off Giovanni Bernard and Monty Ball and what they're trying to do in Denver. It's just I'm not going to take a gamble in my first round. Just not going to do it.
If you gamble in your first round and you don't get it correct, Antonio Brown, you know what you're getting.
Exactly.
You know what you're getting at Antonio Brown. You know what you're getting at Calvin Johnson. You know what you're getting at Demaryius Thomas. You know what you're getting at these guys. This is the NFL. The NFL is changing. It's more pass heavy than ever before.
Oh, 100%.
And you're looking at, a big difference when it comes to the NFL movement. And if you can get 2 running backs that'll be, okay, that'll get you the points, maybe that one touchdown, whether it's a big touchdown or not, it really makes a break you in the fantasy season. What do you think about those receivers ordered, man?
Honestly, I think Antonio Brown's the guy to have this year. And, as a Giant fan, I'm a big fan of Odell Beckham, but I think a guy people sleep on a little bit, get mixed in with the bigger names like Des Bryant and Calvin, is Julio Jones. I think that he's going to have a monster year. I think Roddy White's only getting older. And I wouldn't be surprised, honestly, if I see Julio Jones, whether he could stay healthy or not, of course. But I could see him leading the NFL in receptions this year. And I know it might sound crazy over some of the other guys that, people have ranked ahead of him. But, I think with that system and Matt Ryan, the connection they have, playing half his games in a dome, I just think that everything's there for him, as long as he can stay healthy. He has had some injury problems in his career, but at the same time, who hasn't in the NFL, So
I've lost fantasy championships off bad weather, so I can understand where you're going at with the games being in a dome and the big time situation. Even Dallas Cowboys and Des Bryant, that's a big situation to have beautiful weather at all times at home.
Big time
makes a difference. I'll be honest, it always will.
Definitely.
Mike,
one last point I wanted to make before I let it go is getting back early into the show. You guys were talking about the Toronto Blue Jays, and I just wanted to add in that I honestly think that if you look and compare them to the rest of the AL, I think their pitching's right there. Honestly, I think I heard a stat the other day. They were 13th in all of baseball in team ERA, so that's technically above average. And how long have they had David Price for? A couple weeks. So if you let that average out over the course of the season, And then, I mean, you guys know how it is in the playoffs. You have that one big ace that could carry you. I mean, Madison Bumgarner basically won the Giants the World Series last year. And David Price has been that guy who could show that, he could go 8-9 innings, throw 120, 130 pitches and still be effective. And, they had guys like Dickey's coming around, and I think Marco Estrada's had a very good year. And even that guy Hutchison, as inflated his ERA's been, he's 10-2, 11-2 at home.
Run support right now. He's like the Eovaldi of the New York Yankees right now.
Yeah.
He ERA isn't there.
Exactly.
But
I mean, the question mark about David Price is just how he'll actually pitch in the playoffs.
Yeah.
That's the question mark. And I mean, it's going to be
the way his first couple of starts are going. It's going to be a fun one. It's going to come down to the wire. Mike, again, we really appreciate your phone call. We're going to actually be closing up here. Appreciate it, man. Thanks for the call.
Thank you. Have a good day, guys.
Later, buddy.
I mean, he brought up all good points.
100%.
About everything fantasy and even bringing up the whole Blue Jays talk. But we're implementing a new bit to our show.
Yep.
It's called Guess That Movie Line. I got one movie line for you, and all your answers, answer it onto Twitter at TNJ Sports.
That's hashtag TNJ Sports. Tweet us your answers.
Tweet us the answers, and we will answer it next week on the air, and we'll give you another movie line. The movie line is, just remember, football is 80% mental and 40% physical.
All right. Yeah,
just remember, football is 80% mental and 40% physical. That will do it for the show.
Yeah, man.
Good
show.
Great live show. First
Absolutely.
one.
Yeah, first live show ever, right?
Shaking off the cobwebs.
Yeah, a little bit.
But that will do it. I'm Jerry.
I'm Kevin.
Be breezy.